Good evening, everybody. It says here that we are live, which is cool. Maybe there is something to the whole idea of having a little countdown before you get started, so that people have an opportunity to come and chat. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool talking to nobody the first minute or two. It reminds me of the first time I tried streaming. The first streaming I did was Overwatch a few years ago. Overwatch and mainly the news. My big thing, if someone were to give me infinite money today, so my future is secure, we'd spend a little bit on making a super badass game and then a couple more badass games under the umbrella of Niche Worlds Cult. But I would probably pursue my passion of just discussing my thoughts on the world. But I don't do that here. I keep that shit to myself. So that we don't have any people getting frustrated with my views of the world. PDC Retro. Yeah, like the YouTube premiere. A lot of people have those countdowns. I think Zukin does it as well a bit, right? And then it just gives people an opportunity to pop in. But shit, man. You were here in a minute. You were here instantly. You're here in under a minute, I believe. So it's kind of different than the way I used to stream. Oh, man. Well, right on. Had chat open. Cool, I've got the little scroll bar down at the bottom of the stream now. I completely stole that from Zukin's stream because I looked at it and I was like, that's actually a wonderful solution, I believe. Because that's got to be a lot more legible on YouTube. So, pretty cool. Hey Harrison, how are you? Man, you still have a cough. I didn't get to finish the whole VOD of your last stream today, but I got to watch a good bit of it. I was bummed to hear that you're still coughing. Let me pull latest. I should have done that earlier. Yeah, allergies have been rough on me this year. Fortunately, it hasn't been as bad in terms of like, I often get pretty bad histamine reaction in terms of itchy skin and aches and pains and all of that stuff. This year so far, I've just had a itchy burning right in the corners of my eyes, like the inner corners. A little bit of kind of funky feeling. And runny noses off and on. So that's been the main thing. I had eye surgery a number of years ago. I had 2 eye surgeries back to back to basically replace my tear duct in my right eye. And man, the healing process for that was really annoying. It was, they put a silicone tube through the new tear duct that they punch through your nose. So you've got this rubber tube that is knotted in your nostril. Well, not you, me. I had a rubber tube, silicone tube knotted in my nostril, and they can't tie it off or anything on the other side because it's coming out of your eye. Not you, me, coming out of my eye. I need to remember how to tell stories. It's not about you. It's about me. And so what they do is they leave enough of a length of the rubber tube, you know, little handful of millimeters, just sticking out, and it's laying on your eyeball, or it was laying on my eyeball. And so for a month and a half or whatever, 2 months, while it's trying to heal, basically a piercing. It's essentially a piercing. It's a piercing that goes through the corner, or went through the corner of my eye, under the skin, and then I watched it on YouTube afterwards. I'm glad I watched afterwards and not before. They just kind of punch a hole in the bone there and run this tube through. And so the tube laid against my eye for a while, and it was so annoying. I got to wear a really cool eye patch for a few weeks, but then after that it was just like I kept the eye patch on almost the whole time, just to basically let people know that something weird was going on with my eye, because it was always twitching and just, it was bothering me the whole time. So anyway, went through that whole process of healing, go in, and the lady, it's like, all right, are you ready? And she pulls the tube out. And that's the thing, you've got to watch when you've got a knotted tube in your nose and in your eye, not to pull it out, because you could potentially pull it out and then start over. So anyways, go in and then pulls it out, and then she tries to drain it. They put like a little syringe in the tear duct to see if it'd go through, and it wasn't draining properly. So she was like, well, the option is to do it again. So this time though, at least they got to reuse the hole and everything that they punched through. It was basically just going back in and clearing it back out and then relaying the tube. Maybe they modified something in there, I don't know. And then go through the process one more time, man. Oh, it was annoying. It was annoying. So, the moral of that story is, and anybody watching this, if your eye starts watering, and because your eyes are always watering, if you have one eye that just starts dripping tears pretty consistently on the outside, like essentially if it looks like it's not draining properly, then really pay attention to that. And if it persists for more than, I would say, a week, go get it checked out by an ophthalmologist or whatever. Ophthalmologist. Because what happens is it's not uncommon for a tear duct to get kind of plugged up a bit with gunk. And usually it works itself out. But what can happen is the gunk can get a bit infected and then it can harden. And if it hardens in there, they can put a little syringe in your tear duct and like try to blast it out. And that's not painful at all. So don't be afraid to do it. I recommend, if you got a watery eye like that for a week or more, then go talk to a professional and then have them see if they need an irrigator or something. Because if not, apparently that eye surgery I had was not uncommon. So I was like, what a bummer. Squishy Mustard, howdy. Tuesday. How you doing? Okay, so tonight, ooh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna do it because I need to watch the instructional video. But Keith was kind enough to give me a little video on like a demo. Salacious001. Thank you for the follow. So Keith sent a video, said, I'm going to summarize so I'm not reading out what someone sent me in a DM without asking first. But it says, I extended Pro Builder to meld vertices between separate plane objects. Here's a demo. It's very crude. Don't try anything fancy. Should save some time. It won't permanently connect the vertices, but it aligns them, which is what I was wasting a bunch of time doing the other night, but I enjoy it. And can hide the utility translate widget, and then you can boom, boom, boom. Feel free to change hotkeys. Cool. So I guess it's a .cs. So I guess it's a little bit of code you put together to do quicker vertex welding between separate planes, which is really, really dope. So I'm gonna try that out, but I will not try that out on stream because I need to watch some videos and stuff. So how's everybody's week been so far? Not sure why those did that. I just came in here earlier to modify this fort. I'll have to talk to Ham about it because I know Ham had like a vision in his mind's eye of the Fangard Keep here, but I was talking to Nick yesterday a little bit about it. We were talking about the zone population stuff, and he was like, it'd be cool if it was a more obvious prominent tower. And then I was like, well, let's make a sort of a familiar kind of nostalgic looking tower here. So I redid it a bit, but can definitely see it in the distance now. So that's a plus. So I think I'm good to, you know what I may do? I may split these pools up since I got to commit this anyways. Got to push this. I wanted to have something that had like a fun shadow as well. It's a fun shadow. I mean, you know, this is all just blockout placeholder shit. And when we do concepts or whatever, it may change. But, figured I'd pretend to be creative for a minute. Then we still have some of the pieces, little towers that can be kind of crushed and stuff. Little lookout towers. Alright, so let's just repaint this terrain real quick to make these look more like little pools, and then I'll hit save, and then I'll hop into Dragon's Run, and we can poke at that for some more. Oh, I have not had a chance to look and see if Zone Pop is gone in here, so I may check that out in a minute as well. Hey, Regis. Thank you very much. I appreciate the well-wishing. I started, over coffee, I watched a video that was recommended to me on YouTube that was, essentially a guy doing reviews of old D&D modules. Ye Old Geek. And I really liked the couple of videos I checked out. They're pretty short. But the that reminded me, that got me thinking about how much, just if I need random inspiration, if I want to get in the mood, then I love just looking at the old like D&D modules, and any tabletop stuff really is kind of fun. So I made a tabletop RPGs channel in Discord so that we can talk about the things that we love and post links and stuff like that there without it disturbing everybody in general, I guess. Regis asks, are you a coffee guy? What I mean by that is, do you do specialty coffees that cost more than most? No, I'm the opposite. I mean, I appreciate good coffee. I don't necessarily always like it. I like it fairly consistent, even if it's not necessarily the best. And so it's nice to have. Jasmine makes me coffee in the mornings, every morning, pretty much. I think this morning I might have made my own. Oh wait, is this still on subtract? Yeah. We've been drinking, we went through like a couple years of making French press coffee every morning, and since then, lately we've just been drinking like instant coffee. I'm not complaining about your coffee, lady. Yeah, no complaints. I like it. Are you a crazy coffee person, Regis? At some point may go back to the French press thing just because we're trying to get a garden lockdown here. Germany's got these really cool. You know, I'm just going to start completely over with this. I'm just going to change it all back. And then put in the little glass thingies. But Germany's got these, they're called like little gardens. There's like this little garden culture here in Germany. And so it's essentially, it's a garden that you rent from the community, but people rent them for years. Like Jasmine's family's had the same garden plot in Cologne since 57. So you do the math. And her dad's like the grand maestro, one of the people that run the like 200 plots there in Cologne. And so there's just these quirky little like gardens. They're relatively big, and people have like garden houses there, and they go and they barbecue, and you can, you know, spend the night in them and stuff like that. And it's a little getaway just right in every little city. And so we're looking into getting one of those here in Bremen. And so the short story long, when we wind up getting one of those, I may go back to drinking regular coffee, and then we'll just use the grounds in our compost or whatever interesting gardening stuff we can do with it. That was a lot of extra information just to say why I might go back to doing French press again at some point. You spend $300 a month on coffee? Mind you drink 2 to 5 pots a day. I spent, I can't mock that at all. When I lived in Austin, when I lived in this area called the Domain, which is just there, I think they're trying to create a new upscale downtown north of town or whatever. And so it's a lot of expensive shops and stuff, but that's where King's Isle Entertainment was when I worked there. And so when I got divorced, I got an apartment in the Domain. They're really expensive, but it was super convenient to be like a block away from work. And given that it's an upscale mall, essentially, like outdoor California style mall, there's a Starbucks. And so I would wind up drinking like 4 Starbucks a day. And of course they had to be the massive ones, right? And I had one of those Starbucks gold cards that you could get and put your money on it and blah, blah, blah. And I was spending probably 300 plus a month at Starbucks alone. To the point where, because I was also like newly single, and as you can tell, tons of personality, lots of fun. So anyway, I made friends at all of the restaurants and Starbucks, and so even spending, or maybe because I was spending so much money there, I got some free coffees and stuff. Eventually I did the math. I like did a line item budget and realized that I was spending like $300 a month at Starbucks, and yeah, they're like, we're one of the best Starbucks in Austin. Thanks, pal. Our numbers are great. Anyway. That was the last time I spent that much money on coffee. I don't know that these are much better in terms of white spots that I'm going to be putting in here. Those of you that are new to the stream, welcome to Monsters and Memories. If you would like a more sort of professionally done entertaining stream, I would recommend that you follow the following team members. Check them out. They all stream as well, and they are much, I think they're maybe a little less stream of consciousness, just telling you random stories about their lives than I am. So definitely check those out if you just want some, just want to talk about the game and not hear all my bullshit. But Zukin talks about his life as well. Oh, I'll have to talk to him about that. That's not really recommended. I thought he understood the deal. Squishy Mustard said, I've been putting thought into what makes a MMO good and enjoyable for me, and I think I found a major sticking point that I have with mini games. Oh, do tell. But do keep in mind that if we have that same sticking point, I don't know what to tell you. You're shit out of luck, buddy. You thought Zukin's role was to provide inappropriate animations? Well, he does do that. And yeah, there's also a lot of like discussion of Ogre and Nomass on his stream as well, right? You don't like a story on rails type of game. I remember wasn't Guild Wars like the first one to really back in the day do story where you're like, damn. I mean, it even had like the chapters and stuff. I thought they did a good job with it. Your stream is just arguing with the little pop-up Shawn. You said little pop-up Shawn and I thought of Little Rocket Man. There's a great story about Donald Trump talking to Kim Jong-il? Or is that dad? Kim Jong-un? Kim Jong-il. I think Un was dad. And the Little Rocket Man comment came up. It's actually a wonderful story. If you can get past, you know, if people can get past their just base hatred of the guy. It's a brilliant story. It's really fun. Oops, is that difference? I did do difference. Harrison, if there's a better way to do this, let me know. I'm just kind of... Well... I'm just making 80s art right now. Material color, and I'll do it... I found some funky stuff in here. Since this is all placeholder, it's funny, I went into materials at one point and saw some of their like test materials. And there is I think there's like some sort of a transparent glassy material. And I used that. See if I can find it really quickly. Kim Jong-un is the dad. Thank you, Enoch. I thought so. I should probably just... I should stop dicking around and just... Nope, bubble. That'll be nice and shiny. Oh, I can't use that. Let me just stop screwing around. I'll just use this. It'll make it white. Cool. And that's probably good for now. Tends to lead to quest hub to quest hub to quest hub to get and gets a bit repetitive. Yeah, Squishy Mustard. It's just definitely different strokes for different folks on that one. Some people want to be the savior of the whole game. The chosen one. Ray, if someone asks you if you're the chosen one, say yes. Just hated that you couldn't jump off hillsides in Guild Wars. Other than that, you enjoyed it? Oh, fair. I do dumb things subscribed with Prime. Well, clearly your name is inaccurate because you just did something really smart. You contributed your Prime to the cause. Welcome. Hello. Thank you. We'll have to do this better later. These spots are meant to be glassy areas that were, you know, from the war. Again, this is all just sort of blockout placeholder. It gives us some ideas. Like when I was talking to Nick yesterday about zone pop, we were talking about how we could potentially use these a little bit better to help with zone population. Oops, I did not mean to. Did I? I didn't. Okay, cool. I was hoping I didn't change colors on that. All right, so I'm gonna hit save in this zone. One thing I want to check is I feel like I missed some stuff. So let me hop in here real quick and we'll see if we can look at this tower in here. Darguth86 also subscribed with Prime. So kind of you. A hype train is close, people. Twitch just told me so. A hype train is close. Ghostbusters was your favorite movie as a kid? I got to see Ghostbusters on an army base in Germany right before we moved. Not right before, but before we moved back to the United States. I was so amped on it, man. Every kid was, right? It was an easy movie to get pretty pumped about. That was, man, 80s movies were pretty rad, right? Because that subject matter is not, it was a bit iffy for kids. And some of the, like, oh, man. Some of the effects and stuff in there was pretty, scary if you're a kid. Afterlife, I have not seen. I do dumb things, said boom. Boom. They did it. Boom. Is anybody old enough? Maybe it was only a thing that kids said where I lived. On base. Well, I didn't live on base, but I went to school on base. No, actually, this was on base. In probably 87, because that was when we were at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. They used to say, and I don't understand why now. When I think back to it, I'm like, what did that even mean? But kids were always saying, "Boom your mug." Was that a thing? Was that just like some weird shit that like little Timmy said locally, and then we just all started saying it? See if I can pop through here. Nope, cannot. That sounds regional. I always thought janky was regional. I thought that was local to Alabama until I got to California. And then I said something was janky to somebody in California. They're like, I don't know what that means. But then other people did say janky, and I was like, okay, so that's not strictly a Alabama thing. Blocked, report. Where is the problem? Chat messages. Bam. Bot. Please tell us more. And I like that they've added more steps now to reporting people. That's always a good move, Twitch. Zukin says, I vividly remember the first time I heard someone say sick, meaning cool. Everybody turned and looked at him. I don't remember the first time I heard it. It had to have been when I started hanging out with the local skateboarders after I moved to Alabama. I moved to Alabama as a 13, just turned 14-year-old. Maybe 13, had not turned 14-year-old. Anyways, I got to Alabama and had been skateboarding a bunch just on my own when my my dad was stationed. Where was he? Oh, he was in Korea. He was in South Korea for a year. So my mom and I lived in Florida because our family's in Florida. And ooh, nice. We got some stuff under here now. Family's in Florida, and so we had a trailer in the Ocklawaha National Forest, and I played a lot of CRPGs and messed around on bulletin board systems and basically skateboarded with my one friend out there anywhere we could find concrete because we lived on dirt roads. And but I was also very into heavy metal, and so I moved to Alabama, and I was the only kid in school rocking an Iron Maiden three-quarter sleeve t-shirt, and I had like longer hair and really bad glasses, and so then I met the skateboard kids, and they were all like listening to Minor Threat and Bad Religion and Public Enemy and shit, and so I started hanging out with them more, but they kind of thought I was a nerd because I had heavy metal t-shirts. I had lots of heavy metal t-shirts, and one of those kids that made fun of me and eventually helped me replace my entire wardrobe, he just gave me free clothes, was a skateboard kid named Jamie Thomas. And Jamie Thomas was like, man, these heavy metal t-shirts, they're not cool. You gotta listen to other stuff, which I mean, I listen to everything. I was a big fan of hip hop and heavy metal and other stuff, but I mainly just wore heavy metal t-shirts and tight jeans. And then that son of a bitch, years and years later, becomes a famous professional skateboarder. And his video parts, what's he listening to? Iron Maiden. Are you kidding me? Telling me my shirts are lame, then stealing my style years later. Yeah, Leap of Faith was gnarly. Jamie's an interesting guy. I'll do a little humble brag. I'll tell the story that my friend back when I used to go to California, my friend would always introduce me to other people. This guy I know named Chad Foreman actually helped him set up a lot of those companies. So Zero was there, but then Chad helped him grow Zero and Fallen and set up black box distribution, all that stuff. So I'm regularly was introduced as the guy who filmed Jamie Thomas's Sponsor Me video. I met Jamie Thomas because he went to the rich kids school in the north side of town. And I went to the school that was not that, on the south side of town, and we had a shared class that was electronics class, and they had a video editing system there, Mr. Ananopoulos' class. And so whenever we were done soldering shit or whatever, we could spend the rest of the class editing video on Mr. Ananopoulos' video editing machine. And then I was just always around or whatever and didn't mind filming. So I'd film, and then And then Jamie put his video together and sent it to like Spitfire and Thunder and... Could have sworn it was Thunder. Yeah, Spitfire, Thunder, bunch of other stuff. So yeah, I was chilling out at his house the day he got his first flow box from those guys. And I have an old wallet in storage that actually still has the stickers on it from that first like box of flow shit that he got. Thought it was pretty cool. I mean, the dude did well for himself. Kind of an interesting character, but yeah. You see the skate park that was filled with sand to prevent skaters during COVID, but instead of blocking people from using it, people just brought in their dirt bikes. That's funny. That's ridiculous. It's redunculous. Time set 6 a.m. Gotta get some of those heavy metal t-shirts back in the mix. I tend to always wear just the same black H&M t-shirt because I like to fit. So I have a closet full of nothing but the same t-shirt. I've got a number of boxes in storage of all that old Zero stuff because basically whenever they had new stuff when I lived in California, I would just hook up with Chad and he'd take me to the Black Box warehouse and just shopping cart and I'd load it up with all the latest shit. So there was a period in my life where like I could wear a different Zero or Fallen or Mystery or whatever t-shirt every day of the week. Shawn's wardrobe looks like cartoons when they open their closet and every outfit is the same. Yeah, it really does. Not even a joke. It keeps me from having to think too much about what I'm wearing. This reminds you of the ogres from EverQuest, Buford? Oh, well, that's a decent compliment. His clothes disappeared when I zoned. That's a bug. All right, so we can see the tower in the background. That's decent. Scorn, I see you up there. Thank you again for all of your generosity over the years, Scorn. Oh, I just ate the last bread roll, speaking of which. The UI theory... well, now that I saw the UI, yes, my theory is confirmed. It's just, you know, it's pretty familiar. It's a pretty simple UI setup, so... Not reinventing the wheel until we actually go to do the UI. I think we'll be... Those will be some interesting discussions. I think the team will have some back and forth on that. We'll have some differences of opinions. But then we'll work it out. We're nice folks. We tend to work stuff out. I'm going to put on this super speed gem so that... so I can run over here quicker. This is not our actual movement rate. Those of you that are new here... Don't think that this is the move rate. Don't get confused. Those of you that are new here, what I'm doing right now is I'm essentially gray boxing just from a loose level design standpoint. I'm neither an environment artist nor am I much of a level designer, but the team is dancing with She Who Brought Us. And that she is me, or whatever the saying is. I'm also not very good at remembering sayings. Hidden Tree, what's going on, dude? How are you? Did YouTube just ask me if I'm still here? Yes, I'm still here. Keep playing music, YouTube. Do your job. Is this a reimagining of those classic era games, Buford? It is. Have you seen our website? We have a website. Check that out. There's a FAQ on that website. That's helpful. We have a Discord. There's a whole bunch of you now in Discord. So... be sure to join the Discord. All right, now this doesn't look like it's crazy, too crazy wide. This looks workable. Especially since, spoiler, gotta fix a bunch of stuff. There's gonna be some secret stuff down in here. In here, oh my god, don't die. Okay, good. For whatever reason, I didn't take fall damage. Cool, all right, that'll do. That will do for designer art that I'm providing. Don't do a Pattis and fall out a window to your death. I didn't see that on the stream yet. I might have missed it. Development is going well, Hidden Tree. How about you guys? How are you doing? Oh, also, don't just join the Discord, join the mailing list. The mailing list is at like 1,300 people. As we have more information about sort of where things are at with regards to playability and blah, 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 we'll be letting people know via Discord. Nice entry. Oh, interesting. Those guys are floating. Thank you, Buford. While you're here, those of you that are new and aren't aware of it yet, also check out, Hidden Tree, who I'm talking to here in chat, he and his team are working on a really cool game. We've played, it's been a little while since we played, but we've played many hours in the 2 sessions. I swear we probably played a good 6 or 8 hours in 2 sessions of Evercraft Online. And if you like old EQ, classic style MMOs, really cute art style, be sure to check it out. What we have played of it has been really compelling and a lot of fun. Let me zone to Dragon's Run. Oh wait, I don't even know if it's on the server. I don't think it's on the server yet. I think my character is just in a limbo now. That's okay. I need to actually work. I need to do work. So question about move speed. Cotswold asked. Sorry if this is a dumb question. How do you scale run animation speed with the actual run speed? Zukin, do you want to answer that? Pattis said, oh, you were testing if gnomes fit through a new window and ended up falling to your death. Question answered, I guess. Entry, that would be awesome. All right, so I'll have to go back in. Oh, I should fix that while I'm thinking of it because there's just going to be a bug later. So let me zone back out. Glass flats, go here. Copy. Dragon's Run. Paste. I commented the other day on the river being boring and straight. Most rivers are boring and straight. Fair point, especially at that scale, right? It'd be kind of weird if it was winding around that much at that scale. I was just being self-critical. Zukin said for animation speed, we can edit the speed the animation plays in engine if we need to, and with the animator controller, you can have it be on a sliding scale. Shift J, thank you for the Prime. Speaking of Prime, I've got to look into a new service that Amazon is supposedly doing with relation to merch. Because it looks like Amazon is doing something now where they'll actually handle all the fulfillment and stuff for merch using their system. Payment and fulfillment and all that stuff. Now, do I want to do that? Not really. I don't want to support Amazon any more than I have to. But on the flip side, not being able to find a good service that's not just straight print on demand to handle fulfillment and basically the online shop and all that stuff is kind of a bummer. So you're very welcome. Thanks for saying that, Shift J. How much is that player house going to cost? Nice view. It may cost your character's soul. Wish I had a better voice for that type of response. Man, I didn't even think about this. I'm like, wouldn't it be something if I was a voice actor? Imagine me doing what we're doing here. Streaming our development live. If I was like a Matt Mercer, I don't think I've ever heard him do an actual voice. I barely know who he is. I just hear the name a lot. But imagine if I was a really solid voice actor. That'd be incredible. There'd be so many of you in chat. In a world. Yeah, I can't do it. So, to get player housing, you have to become zombies. Thank you, Snickerdoodle. You make me feel better. Did I tell you guys? I'm sure I've told you. I've told you every story 15 times now. I filmed a web series when I took a year off in like 2014 or so. And I actually filmed a web series. There's like 15 or 18 episodes. They're pretty short because back then everybody told me, you know, people on YouTube didn't want to watch anything that was longer than like 6 minutes. Little did I know, if I would have just used all the footage that I filmed on the interviews, it would have been perfect. I still have that footage somewhere, so one day maybe I'll re-edit this series. But the series is, here, I'll find it real quick. I always feel guilty when I'm doing something that is not specifically M&M related now. I forget that my stream is my stream. It's not just a work stream. You guys that, you know, Zukin, Pattis, you should feel the same way. Your streams are your streams. If you want to stream other shit, like, Zukin, I know you've streamed playing some, didn't you stream playing some Vanguard? Like, stuff like that's good. Speaking of which, when the TLP comes out next month, we should play together, all of us. I'm going to mention it in Discord as well. I don't know if I'm going to do one of these 2 nights that I've been streaming a week, or if I'm going to add another stream on another stream day. So we'll play it by ear. Assume I'm just going to be slack and stream one of my normal stream days as TLP day. So I think, yeah, we should all be in there. We should all get a guild. We had a guild on the last TLP, but nobody wanted to join it because they all wanted to join like EQ Baby or something. BDC Retro said, Steve at Gamers Nexus spent a lot of time finding a vendor that made good quality merch, shirts. I think they're using Bella and Canvas now. Bella and Canvas is good. May have to look into that. The thing is, we want a variety of stuff beyond shirts, but okay, I'll just open in another tab and then we can check it out. Hold on one second. I thought the new TLP started at 0, at least one of them. And then you have more of the zones available. And you have what, everything up to like omens or something available, but then you're level capped at 40. I thought that was the gimmick. Sorbonne, are you EQ Baby? That's cool if you are. Oh, right on. On Eridan? I probably saw you around then. Finding what's next project. So this is hold on one second. This is the web series that I shot back in the day. And so that's funny that comes up as people also watched. So how many episodes? That's so funny. 43 subscribers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 18, roughly 20. Yeah, so I interviewed people that I knew in Austin, and asked them if they could basically do anything they wanted to do starting the next day. Like, if you could do anything starting tomorrow, what would it be? And so like my friend here, Kyle, he was actually a game designer at Sony with me. And he quit the industry, went to cooking school, became a pastry chef. And so during this period, he was starting a little bread company. And his wife, Stina, accountant, but she really wanted to be a librarian. And my friend Rudy, I met him training jiu-jitsu. He wanted to open a jiu-jitsu school that also taught, I think, bongos, the slappy drums, which he has actually opened a jiu-jitsu school. Kyle, I'm not sure what he's doing now, but he's got like long, kind of beautiful, lush man hair, and he's ripped. He's got a six-pack. The dude's like 6'4". I trained Muay Thai with him as well. He's like 6'4". At the time when we first started training Muay Thai, he was like 260, and then he got down to like 230. But now he's like ripped. It's crazy. My friend Brian, he was our lead environment artist on DC Universe Online. We filmed the whole episode on his boat. And now he's working, I think he's secretly working on an MMO. I know he's at a new company. They haven't announced what they're working on, but it's a bunch of former EQ2 and DC and other people. And it's one of the founders is the former head of the. He was the executive producer, I believe, on EQ2, and then the head of the Austin studio when I was there. And chatted with him briefly like 2 years ago, and when they're first sort of gathering people up at their company, and I know they're probably at like 40 people now, and there's a lot of MMO experience, so I'd have to guess the company's called Mutant Arm, and they haven't announced anything that I know of. I'll have to look it up see if I'm wrong there. But they have to be working on an MMO, and there's no info on it. Gordon Walton, those of you that are into online games might remember Gordon. He's a legend. This woman, Julie Hunter, she opened a roller derby store in Austin. Like, quit her sort of like job working for the city as like a parks planner or something. And last I heard, she still had the shop. Nate, another guy I knew from jiu-jitsu, has built up like a big ass church in Austin. Yeah, so interesting mix of people. And a lot of them have actually done the things they were talking about doing. So it's kind of cool. My friend Drew Burke in Alabama is an interesting one. Yeah, anyways, it was a fun series. If I knew then what I know now, I would have gone a lot harder on it, and I'd go long format. So anyways, the reason why I thought of this, man, I'm all over the place most of the time, is because when you complimenting on my radio voice, I guess, which is very kind of you to say. In none of these episodes will you hear my voice, except for maybe like briefly. I think Julie asked if she could curse, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. I cut out my voice every single time and just edited it so that it was just these questions that pop up on the screen, and then they answer the questions, because I did not want to hear my voice. Also made it easier to edit, I guess. So anyway, that's my story. Monty, what's going on, guy? How are you? You've got a weird voice. Every time you hear it, you're like, why am I the one that has to sound like that? Have we ever talked on Discord? I don't know that that's true. I don't know that I believe that story. I've been wanting to chat with you on Discord anyway. Recently I've been thinking about you. Was I on a guild on Eridune? I played there for a good year or so. We had like a 5-person guild. Our guild was called Cozy. Because I'd never heard the term used. I'd never heard the term cozy used so damn often until I started playing until I started playing on Eridune, and then everybody was talking about cozy, and that's when I was exposed to Co-Carnage as well. I wasn't really aware of them. So everybody was talking about cozy streams and stuff like that. So I think Bunny got the name Cozy. So we'll see if we can get it again. We'll expand the life of Cozy. Got some good news. Switching jobs. What are you doing? Are you allowed to say, Monty? I need to look at this map. Oh man. Sorry, I was busy reading. Trooper said something. Surprised to see Holly Longdale as lead producer at Blizzard now. Glad they brought in some new blood to their team. Yeah, I hope she does well. Nicodemus, yeah, I've been thinking about following up with some of those folks. Be cool to see. You want to hear a funny story, and then I'll stop talking about the web series. So my ex-wife, well, one of my ex-wives, had a friend. I don't think they're friends anymore. Had a friend who is actually a manager for a few, like, pretty well-known comedians in LA. And so I talked to, like, my wife was like, oh, you should talk to her about the web series that I was doing. And so I did. You know, I basically, you know, got some of her time, and because we knew each other fairly well. You know, she'd stayed at our place when she was coming through town, and like we'd meet whenever the comedians were on tour, and she'd come. So anyways, so I talked to her about it. And she's like, oh yeah, you know, that sounds like a really cool series and stuff. And yeah, I can actually help you. Maybe, I think that could be a good show and blah, blah, blah. I can help you with that. Or, I think it was kind of like that, maybe not as committal. So I was, oh wow, that's incredible. I got so amped, right? Because I was really spending so much time like trying to figure out how to do the series, and I was doing YouTube for the first time and editing video for the first time and all this cool shit. And oh, that's interesting. Did it just make a whole bunch of these? It did. That's an interesting bug. Wow. Anyway, what's up, D? And so she was like, yeah, you know, basically, oh, I can help with that or whatever. Like I said, maybe not that committal. And then I want to see where these appear, because it's crazy. Oh, it's in mountains. Like, how many of these did it create? What a strange bug. Are they all down here? Let's delete those. So, and then I just kept not hearing anything back from her. And I would like try to, you know, try to be like, hey, you're not trying to be a pest or whatever, you know, want to follow up on that and blah, blah, blah. And she was, and she, you know, it just was like, all right, just nothing. So anyway, a couple years ago, maybe a year, maybe two, ago, I saw an interview with her, because now she's very like into politics. And again, we don't discuss politics in here. Let's not. But anyway, though I do get dangerously close sometimes on the shit that I bring up and then immediately squash. During this interview, she's talking about how when she was in LA, she's a completely different person now. She's kind of the opposite political views of what she used to be. But she was talking about how when she was an agent in LA, she would intentionally blow people off if they were not, they didn't meet certain criteria. And so like, and she feels real guilty about it, but yeah, there's opportunities to work creatively with all sorts of different people over the years, but if they didn't meet those sort of criteria, then she ultimately wouldn't work with them or help them, because they'd had enough help in their lives. So probably overthinking it, but I think I probably fit the bill back then, and that's what happened with that thing never going beyond just like, oh, maybe I can help you out. So that's my story on that. I found it pretty funny years later to see her talking about that. I was like, I could see that happening. I could see that. No hard feelings. Would not be here today had that been a thing. Who knows where I'd be? Yeah, D. It's always a little that sort of thing's always gross, and no matter what direction it's aimed. I'm not into it. Belfaster said, what I admire about your early EQ interviews, how I found you, was how easily you would overcome the various names people had if they had legitimate questions without skipping a beat. And then in quotes, King of Boners 69 asks, what thought went into the design principles of Lower Guk? Then I would just read the names out, right? I'm sure I would just read the names out. I try to just do it seriously, like, it's no big deal. I mean, it's the internet. It's the internet. Of course there's someone named King of Boner 69 that has a good question. I mean, we had let me scroll back down in events. Probably even, did the person follow? I don't know that they followed last stream. Maybe they got banned or something. But there was a decent question that came in last stream from, what was their name? It was like Pooh Say, the Destroyer. I was just like, all right, Poos, is that a serious question? Or are you just trying to get me to read your name out loud? Ultimately, I think we're all adults here, mostly. I try to keep the stream relatively PG 13-ish, but like, if it was just me talking normally, I have a very vulgar mouth. I tend to curse a lot, but the occasional curse word or edgy name or whatever, that's no big deal. I think we'll all live, right? Monty, sorry, I sidetracked myself, but you're used to me at this. So, you're working for Meta now. Is that remote, or do you have to live somewhere cool to be able to do that, Monty? I could always set up a bleep button on your stream deck and just press that when you're about to say something bad. So I've been streaming for 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 33 seconds. I think I've answered at least 3 questions that consumed 40 minutes of that. I've barely done any work on stream while doing it. Do you think I'm capable of bleeping myself? I'm so stream of consciousness, I would have no fucking idea what's going on. Like, I don't know what I'm saying most of the time. I'm looking at this map over here on this other screen. I'm looking up here. I'm super self-conscious about making... Like, I'm having trouble making the cut. I meant to get a lot more done before stream today, but I had some stuff that I needed to get done. Some non-stream stuff. I had to get a haircut. I got a shave. There's this wonderful Turkish barber shop down the street that I go to. Honestly, it's not the best. It's not the best barber shop. If you guys are watching, apologies. I love the guys. when I told them that they're like, where are you from in America? This was like a year ago. I was like, well, last place I lived was Texas. And so now every time they see me, they're like, hey, Texas. I mean, they do a good job. They do with what I've got left hair-wise to work with, in better lighting, it looks a lot thicker, I swear. I've been saying that my whole life. The job is good, and they're pretty, quick, and we rock out to a lot of fun Turkish music and stuff in there, and really nice guys. But in terms of like the fanciness of it, I've been to some pretty crazy like barbershops here in Germany. And they're not like that super crazy high level, high quality sort of like, give you a massage and everything else. But they do a solid job, and they're in my neighborhood, and they're my crew, so anyway, that's a very long story explaining why I did not actually do my homework and have a lot more shit done. Because the trick is, what I do is I'll turn on like I'll be watching one of the team's VODs, or I'll have a podcast on in the background. I'll get all jacked up on cheap instant coffee, and then I'll come in here and I'll just start blasting on stuff and actually making things. And then when I get on stream and I'm all distracted, and all that stuff, I'm mainly just here hanging out with you guys and talking. I feel guilty about it every single time. I wish I was making all sorts of cool shit like Zukin and Pattis. But I'm mainly just sort of clicking on the same things over and over again while trying to figure out exactly how far apart these two oases should be. I can always move it later. I need to stop overthinking it. If you had to shave your head tomorrow, you have the head for it and it suits you well. Not all of us are that lucky. Thank you, Belfaster. You guys are being so complimentary tonight. I used to shave my head when I was in the army. I was in my unit. We had to have haircuts every 2 to 3 days. And so I didn't want to look like a GI. I was stationed in DC, and I wanted so bad just to hang out in the punk rock scene of DC, right? Like I was so just amped to be in DC, especially in the early 90s. It was just such a crazy city, crazy time, all that good shit. And so I just always just had a shaved head, and that was against Army regulation, because in the early 90s, the Army was really, really, really worried about like skinheads and stuff in the Army. So it was against regulations, but aside from PT in the morning, no one would see our shiny heads. So my roommate and I always rocked a bald head. The problem then was people thought we were skinheads in DC. So that was not good. So that was kind of awkward at times. But anyway, when I see the pictures, and I don't have many, but when I see the pictures from back then with me with a bald head, I'm like, that doesn't look too bad. And then when I had the skate park, it was bald when I got there, but then I started just growing it out as long as possible. Because I really wanted to be Heath Kirchard, I think. And dyed black, longer hair. Anyways, the pics I've seen from there, I'm like, that doesn't look bad. And yet, here I am. I think what it is Jamie and Chad and all these guys I knew from back in the day that are my age have all shaved their heads. And I'm not a quitter. Not a quitter. All these guys have shaved their heads. I'm not a quitter. I'm gonna hang in until like I've only got like 3 Charlie Brown hairs on the top of my head. I don't know why I've got the squiggy thing. I think I've got to like push it over. But I've always had a crazy widow's peak anyway, so. I've got to wonder. I wish I could get better stats from Twitch. I wonder how many people come in here for the first time and they're like, "Oh, this looks like a video game that's being worked on," and then they just hear me talking about the most random shit for like 15 minutes. And their first 15 minutes of experience of Monsters and Memories is just me talking about the most random things, and then there's like, "Oh, screw this, I'm out." Man, sorry, team. But that's what you signed up for. You should have watched more streams with me before you joined the team. Now you're acting all surprised. Like, oh, I don't know if I don't want to keep doing this. Shawn's freaking random all the time. I was not expecting when I signed up to be a part of Niche World's cult that we'd actually be, you know, that we're going to have to be weirdos. Of course you're going to be weirdos. What the hell is wrong with you? Get it through your head. This is not a professional operation. See you, Monty. Hit me up on Discord. I'll hit you up. I'll hit you up as well. I'll hit you up first. I asked, so it's more fair for me to do the work. So I'll hit you up. And you can tell me all about the evil empire. Thank you, Not Pump. Stats will increase if you play Robert's new track. Oh, I can't wait for the new revised version of Robert's track. I will play, since it's already in game, but I'm not going to go over there. I'll hit pause here, and I will play the version that is the unauthorized early cut. How about that? Let me music. And let me go up. It's an early draft. So I'm gonna hit pause. I'm so amped on this track. The volume may be pretty crazy though, because I don't see volume controls in Slack. So let me download it. Downloading 7 megs instantly. I remember back when that would take forever. Oh man, speaking of bootlegs, I was listening to Adam Curry's podcast while cooking dinner. And he's that guy's really smart. He was a VJ in the 80s, like one of the early oh, I guess that just doesn't exist there. He was one of the early MTV VJs. He had like the crazy feathered rock and roll LA rock and roll hair. Come to find out, the guy's actually, you know, pretty brilliant for being that handsome. Anyway, he's kind of cutting edge. He was like he was, if not the first podcaster, one of the very first legit podcasters. And now he's doing he's on some crazy distributed platform. And so he plays whatever he wants on his podcast because, I mean, no one can take this shit down, right? It's just this distributed podcast. I think his fans pay him in crypto or something, and so he can play whatever he wants. And it's so rad to hear random ass music on a podcast like that with no one worried about like DMCA. Oh man, I like it. So one of these days, if I'm ever able to freely express my opinions on the internet, probably going to do it via a platform like that. It's really cool. But I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until after the company's successful because I don't want to do that to the team. If you people knew what I really thought about things, you'd run for the hills. You'd be like, "That Shawn Lord's a son of a bitch." And that would be that. And while I don't mind inflicting Niche World's cult with all sorts of stuff, I do think it would be unfair for me to do that to the team at this point in time. Duplicate faces into... No. New game object. Why not? Well, I guess if it would just be part of a submesh, I guess that works. Shawn, the new track from Wyrmsbane is ready. Let me send it. Give me 15 minutes to finish off the mastering. Up. Bob 1976 is Robert. So I'm not going to play the draft. I'm going to wait until you guys get the... You'll be the first to hear it. We talking like John McAfee poop hammock stuff? I think the poop hammock was a government prop. Jasmine's laughing in the other room. She says hammock, so funny. The German accent hammock. How dare I? The poop hammock? Is that the one with the poop hammock? I'm not an asshole. I'm just saying we don't know what our own voices sound like. We don't know. Apparently I have a godlike radio voice and I've been hiding it from the world all these years. And you call hammocks hammocks. Does she say banana hammock? How would you say banana hammock? The world needs to know. I can't repeat those words. Those are bad words. Banana hammock. You got the first one. You nailed the first one. Banana is perfect. And so what's wrong with banana hammocks? Nothing, Hints. But yeah, anyways, the McAfee poop hammock stuff, I think that was all government propaganda, man. That was the man trying to keep them down. Sounds like someone has been drinking Red Bull. Holy shit, how did you know? I did have a watermelon Red Bull like 3 hours ago and it's still doing it. Why do you say hammocks? Isn't it hammock? Hammock? It's a hammock. But my wife says hammock. It is spelled with no. Red Bull, Shawn, go burr. Yes. Sorry, guys. I think you find it more fun. Otherwise, I would have just been asleep. I was so tired. Duplicate faces. Red Bull Shawn and non-Red Bull Shawn are different people. Which one do you prefer? Or do you just like the variety? Is it kind of like me in a blonde wig for your birthday? I guess I am a different person when I'm on Red Bull. Salad burp Shawn's is best. They're so gross, man. I apologize. I don't have them at the moment though, so that's kind of cool. Zone line there? Yeah, roughly here. Roughly here, Nicodemus. So this will take you into a pretty crazy layout that I've really got to try to wrap my head around how we're going to pull it off. A very hilly environment with some interesting points of interest. This is your brain. This is your brain on Red Bull. Any questions? Oh man, those old drug commercials were something else. I feel like that reference is perfect for... Yeah, we've got a lot of 80s, 90s folks in here, which is really nice. Those of you that didn't see it earlier, like I said, I'll make a mention in Discord as well. But I added the tabletop RPGs into Off Topic tabletop RPGs channel. What I'm thinking there is, honestly, anything related to old nostalgic shit. you know, tabletop related nostalgic stuff put in there. Favorite modules, you know, it doesn't have to be exclusively D&D, but like favorite modules, or if they're people that do really good streams. Like I said, I found this guy, Ye Old Geek, earlier today, and really liked, he just does reviews of old D&D modules and or I guess even like redos of old D&D modules, the newer ones. If you find anything like that, do me a favor and put it in there. I really find a lot of inspiration from looking, you know, just looking through old PDFs of old manuals and modules and things like that. It just kind of, if I'm having a like kind of a low day or need energy or whatever, or want to get inspired, and you know, occasionally glean a cool idea for the game, then that's kind of a go-to. So I just thought it would be fun to share that in channel because it's come up before. We've discussed it in other areas, but I don't want them to get lost. So let's see. Waiting to see if Robert said, what, 15, 20 minutes for the new song? In the meantime, I'm going to play the old stuff so it's not so quiet in the background. It's almost like Dare was designed to fail. Yeah. It's all designed to fail. Like I said, if you guys were just having beers with me in a context that was easier to not copy and paste and put on Twitter, we'd be talking about all sorts of conspiracy theories and stuff. If you got good homebrew resources and stuff, Lotta, that anything. Imagery's great. Maybe I should update tabletop RPGs. Wow, that would be too long. Tabletop RPGs and classic fantasy. Let's see. Hey Shawn, I was thinking about you earlier, during dinner actually, because I was watching, I was showing Jasmine a video of Grant Morrison. Grant Morrison talking about how we are all fifth dimensional larvae that are basically, we're all the larvae of a fifth dimensional entity that's using our reality as gestation before we become some greater being. And he's got such a thick Scottish accent that I couldn't help but think of you. Such a great accent. Makes stories sound so much better. So Snickerdoodle says, or asks, I'm curious what you would say your current bottleneck would be if you were to project to completion at current rate. So when you say completion, you mean completion, which is a weird term for MMOs, but I would say that completion for us, current goals, you know, like kind of that final initial state beyond proof of concept, based on our current thinking and our current plan, which is all liable to change in good ways, would be, all right, so if we were to establish the first pass at the game world, and have starting areas, unique starting areas for each race, and then the appropriate the appropriate content around each area. Like if you look at how big proof of concept is in terms of a region, we're at like, what are we at now? Like 10, 11 zones. Ultimately, it would be scaling art. So scaling art is always going to be the bottleneck for us. So the goal is for us to basically get a very good handle on representative art. So getting stuff in and getting it feeling like what we want Eminem to look like. And then what we're hoping the bottleneck is essentially a fairly, in air quotes, straightforward, close quote, logistics problem where we go, all right, well, we feel like we have a feel for what fidelity, oh my gosh, English is hard. Now I'm making fun of, Jasmine's making fun of my English now. What fidelity of art we're shooting for, and how that fidelity informs sort of base logistics. So it's not just like what do the textures look like and what's our modeling look like, but it's if we go through a place like, let me hit save here. Oh, I don't want to go in there. No, I've got audio turned off, so you won't hear it yet. So I'll hit save and let me zone into Wyrmsbane and run through there. Nick just did a really great video of a walkthrough of Wyrmsbane, which is a very low level dungeon. Very much a, kind of level 1 and up starter dungeon. But when we run through there, you can start to see that, oops, I meant to actually just go here and then log in. You can see where even with it basically just being blocked out with some textures put in, some lighting, some mobs in there, it gets us a fairly decent way towards what we're wanting to do. And with that in mind, you start to get a bit of a feel for like, all right, well, how much of a grand investment will each zone ultimately be in terms of like unique objects and unique POIs and unique textures and all the things that can have a multiplicative effect on the production costs. Why am I T-posing? Oh, because I'm on this thing. So let me zone. That's not it. Wyrmsbane, what is the... I just had it up. I don't zone there enough to... I have to bring up until one of you guys says it before I get in there. Database, zone, data, tomb. Why was I spacing out on tomb? Oops. Yeah, snickerdoodle. So, I mean, that's essentially it, because, tech has been interesting for us. It moves pretty quickly, and then we'll run into, something that may take a little bit longer, and then it moves quickly again. There's a lot of stuff that we want to play around with that, isn't fully fleshed out. Let me turn off aggro. And just in case. All right, so... Oh, and I need to summon a torch. Cool, here we go. Right, so the art style we're shooting for is one where it's got a hand-painted feel, but doesn't necessarily feel hyper stylized. And then the hand painting is such that it works well with the lighting that we've got going on, right? And hey there. Oh, we do move pretty fast. Oh, let me cancel my Speed of Wolf or Speed of the Wild. And so you know, I look at this dungeon, I'm like, place a few barrels and boxes and stuff like that in here, and we're pretty close to where we want to be. And if we find that we can, you know, we find that once everything's cleaned up and a little bit more polished and the POIs are a little bit more fleshed out and a few objects are placed, if we find that you, our dear audience, Nick, I don't have the music on because Robert was just in and he said that he's going to be sending us the sort of the actual song any minute now. So I didn't want to ruin it since he was just in here. So that's why I got audio off. But then we'll listen to the song, the mastered one. It is mastered. Robert, if you're still in here, Belfaster's asking if you're cool with sharing your band's name. Yeah, so hopefully all of that made sense. There's, you know, there are other things that are kind of, I don't want to say one-off because they're a big deal, but I think they're more finite in scale in terms of the amount of work that needs to be done. So like UI work and looking at UX, and there's some interaction stuff that we'll want to do as part of our UI. Build out I was thinking about a lot the last day and a half. I need to actually sit down maybe tomorrow and write some stuff up and then bounce it off of, bounce it off you, Nick, and definitely the rest of the team. But some stuff I was thinking about, text interactions and NPC dialogue and stuff that we've talked about in the past with regards to how the windows can work and pop-up windows and things. And so and stuff like that, that's a tackleable problem. But the big bottleneck will ultimately be scale. And if we can find a way to do that through a relationship with like MLS or another outsourcing company, but hopefully MLS, I really like the work they did so far, then that would be awesome. Literally bouncing a new version as we speak. Nice, Robert. I'll go. I'll wait to walk through the dungeon then. It will not be as good a tour as Nick's video, but I'll try to replicate it. How many folks do we have working on this now? 9 of us. I believe it's 9, right? It's still 9. 9 of us in Germany, Bahrain, Finland, Canada, and multiple United States. See you, Lotta, if you're still around. Sorry I missed you. D Loves Pudding says, if you want 80s input, I think you're saying, I want to see a skeleton bones organ where you play the wrong keys, the floor opens up and swallows you whole, a garbage can that you and your friends make into a spaceship, go to the drive-in theater and space, and Wolfman's gotta have nerds. I don't know if all of those references will be in there, but we'll be doing a lot with text, so we can maybe pull some of that off. Nick and company, they use a different kind of video upload thing that's really cool that I feel lame for not using. But I meant to mention it in Slack, but it would be cool to get it on YouTube. There's 10 on the team at the moment. For some reason, I thought there was 9. Am I not counting John? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're right. 10 or 11. No, 10. You're right, 10. Nick, that was a great video though. Was it intentional that the organ started right as you went into the chapel? Yeah, streamable thinger. Did something happen that broke the effects? Nick, have you been seeing effects? Oh, we've got some objects going on in here. I haven't seen these. I'm gonna try to not recreate Nick's video. One, because I honestly don't know my way around good enough. But two, just because he's done such a great job with it, I'll wait for you guys to watch the video on YouTube. Robert said, sorry I missed a question earlier from Belfaster. The band I'm playing with at the moment is a Finnish band called Von Herzen Brothers. All right. Robert, did you say you're uploading the video? I mean the song? Sorry. Sorry, I just spaced out. I'm reading you guys talking in chat, and that doesn't help anybody that's listening in. Well, shit. While running around. Can you upload on Slack? Of course you can. Songs are not very big, so they work fine. Spooky. I love his shadow. That works so well. Oh, it's going to be rad when we can have these guys. We'll have to do a animation for NPCs that we can set that are basically things like this. So we'll have to make this an actual skeleton animation so that we can place skeletons like that. You're looking into getting an ogre skeleton going too. Great. I was thinking about that. In relation to the proof of concept, because we've got so much stuff going on with like the Wyrmsbane lore in some of their different locations. We've got undead in, you know, the usual all over the place. And so I think if we can get a few more of the race's skeletons knocked out, and we can get the system for equipping items on a skeleton so that they're wearing different pieces of armor, you know, and get a couple of helmets in and things like that, I think that that'll go a long ways towards helping us with the variety that's going to be needed to sustain so much undead in the proof of concept without having it feel just super, super samey. And then what we'll have to do is maybe think a little bit about how we wind up distributing that so that it doesn't just basically we put you know, like a fruit salad collection of every undead everywhere, and then it does kind of feel sort of samey. You know, it'd be really great. I'd love to see skeletons wearing tattered robes. That would be a nice stretch goal. Tattered robe skeleton. Let's see. All right, video or the song just came in, so I'm going to download it. Oh, it's a bit bigger. That still works. Cool. And then I'm going to shut the music off here. Then I'm going to look at what you just said in chat. Let's see. I think it was maybe Zukin talking about this, but what are the team's thoughts on casting animations and effects? One thing I'd like to see is the use of held items in casting animations. Like if I'm holding a staff, I cast spells differently than if I'm holding a book. This is one of those things that drives me nuts with games like WoW, where the held items are basically meaningless to animations. That's an interesting thought. Don't let us forget that. That's a depending on how animations come together and how we're feeling about sort of the speed there. I could see that if we're doing a fairly limited, you know, relative to AAA games, number of anims, I could see where we could probably pull something like that off a little bit. So I think that's worthwhile to explore. Zukin says tattered robe should be easy once we fix up the robe, I think. Nice. And then BDC Retro asked Nick, is your dungeon video something you can post publicly? And Nick replied, I'm re-recording the video for public consumption. You could do partial skeletons, torso up, crawling with their hands across the ground. Oh, that would be a whole new set of animations and stuff. Not saying no. Just saying. All right, so let's listen. Well, first of all, I got to see how this MP3 player is, whether or not it's going to blast your ears. So be ready for me to hit pause really quick. And cool. So I'll minimize this. I'll minimize that. We'll hit play, and then I will shut up. Intentionally this time, though. So this is a new song. You may have heard it on one of the other streams, but if not, new song, and then we'll have that on our OST playlist ASAP. Exclusive. Not really exclusive, but let me know how the levels are. This is the music for this dungeon. Got goosebumps. Oof. Cool. So, yeah, that's the new dungeon music. Oh, had goosebumps. Oh man. All right, so that's why I wasn't talking there for those of you that are just popping in. Ryzen, thank you very much. BDC Retro asked, Robert, can you talk about how you get inspired? Do you look at the in-game locations, concept art, or other ways? And do you create music with specific locations in mind for use? If Robert's listening in, we'll see what he says. And then, if you are listening in, are we allowed to reference like inspiration? Because there's definitely I felt like a fun inspiration early when Robert was like, "Oh, do you have any thoughts?" Definitely had a thought in mind, and to me at least, he nailed it. There was a comment about, who was it that said, the Belfaster said the riff kind of gives me a Shine on You Crazy Diamonds vibe, that opening guitar line. It's funny, I didn't hear that one in this one, but I think I have referenced that song recently, inspiration wise. So yeah, it's odd that I didn't necessarily pick up on the same thing, but I definitely heard sort of mood inspired by the reference I gave before. Well, crowd control will have their work cut out for them. Are they repositioning? Did you just aggro them? I'm not sure what's going on. So Robert said, I ran around the dungeon 2 weeks ago or so, and I love that chapel area. I knew I wanted to use a church organ element. Shawn wanted a Twin Peaks feel to it, so the first thing I recorded was a piano part, and then I built on that. Well, there we go. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think there's just something about the this is a dungeon, yeah, but in terms of the story behind it and just kind of the vibe, for whatever reason, the Twin Peaks theme song really seemed like a fun place to, kind of a fun thing to play around with. And man, I didn't know what to expect, but as soon as Rob, I don't think I've ever called you Rob, Robert, like sent over the first little test, little sampler of it. It was like, holy shit, this is great. The comment about this, what was it? Where was it? Twitch is being dumb. There we go. Dargath said, not to knock anyone else on the team, but the quality of soundtrack so far may be my favorite part of the project. We take it as a compliment. Robert is very talented and I'm really into the music. Yeah, so I came over here originally, not just to play the song, which I'll play in the background now, again. But because I was just kind of looking at where the dungeon is. So basically just with textures, starting to get some objects in, NPCs, and lighting, it doesn't feel super far off of where we want to be. What do you guys think? Since we've got you here and you can communicate and give us feedback. Robert said, thank you all for the kind words. It warms my winter-frozen Scandinavian heart. I wish I could do it in his wonderful accent. We need to fix glowing eyes. Nick, my earlier question was, are spell effects in general, a lot of them not showing? They are for you? Okay, I'm probably just not looking at enough spells, but like I could have sworn I saw a, like when paladins were protecting themselves and stuff like that, I saw the light, but I didn't see the actual effects. I had a couple glowing eyes, but not all of them. Now I don't see any, but I swear I was in here earlier with some glowing eyes. Interesting. Some spider webs would be sweet touch. Little alpha'd spider webs. Yep, fair point. That could do a lot. Man, I love, there are these moments of where the colors blend, and I like how the colors, like the lighting's not trying to be natural. And so right now where this torch is overlapping with this purple light, like stuff like that just makes me happy. I don't know, maybe I'm just being a nerd about it. But saw something when the skeleton path up the steps. Maybe consider invisible collider ramp to move up Narrow steps to avoid the herky-jerky. Oh yeah, fair point. If we're not going to address that in how the collision works sort of on the capsule itself, then yeah, we can probably just do that with a ramp instead of using their base collision. Fair point. Nicodemus said, in an earlier stream, Shawn, you had mentioned manipulating objects. Should torches be lightable as you progress through and go out after some time? We might be able to play with that. Thinking about the cost of object interaction, and so as I mentioned earlier, I was thinking a fair bit about the UI and how best to present certain information, and that's when I was thinking about interactable objects and then sort of costs associated with how we're setting those up. So it's something we'll be playing with a fair bit. Gindle Forever, thank you for the follow. Yeah, so it's weird. I feel self-conscious just sort of talking through a random design idea like Shower thought earlier without actually spending the time to sort of edge case it and think through it, which was what I was going to do, and then bounce off you, Nick, tomorrow, but I can't not think about it at the moment. So when we were first talking about object interaction and certain like quest dialogues and things like that, it may have been you, Nick, or I thought it was you, had referenced, you know, having a window pop up. And so like if I use the look button, say if you look over here and I come up on it, I see something interesting, or I believe there's something over here, I use the look, and then it maybe gives me, or I can use it anywhere and it'll give me either you see nothing unusual, or maybe it gives me a brief description of the room. You know, there's an antechamber with what looks to be like a statue of a coat of arms in the northern corner, right? So that's going to pop up. So we've got the ability to do that now. But I've been really wanting everything to exist in the chat boxes and not have like strange extraneous pop-ups and things like that. And I definitely don't want it to be a splash of text. But having it just go into the base pop-up by default, or the base window by default, I think we are missing an opportunity the more I think about it. So what I was wondering is if essentially we could set up a default and all of this would be changeable on the user's end. But if I use look, or if I hail an NPC and they have a response, essentially there's a chat box that comes up. But I don't have to select that. I can basically respond. Ooh, that's a lot of poison protection being cast all at once. So see, I don't see the effects on this end, but I see the light. So I could respond. I could say, hey, you look protected from poison. And I could say it in my say, and it would basically, no matter, well, sorry, I would hit say here or there or wherever, but it would come up in this interaction and dialogue box. And then that's something that fades out when it's not in use. And the reason why I'm thinking about this again is because of those interactions, right? Like I really, you know, once we get to a point where it makes sense, and maybe I'll start doing it in this dungeon as part of the population work, I do want to have us really make a solid effort on putting in those interesting interactions. So like if I come up here, I can get a base description of this thing. If I examine it, so it says, you know, there's a statue of coat of arms, blah, blah, blah. Depending on the skill, my perception skill, you know, and again, we've already got that system sort of in. I could notice that there's a strange gap in the side of the statue. right? And so then as I start to interact with that, we currently have the ability to use objects in those interactions. So if it was a keyhole, I could say, you know, I could basically use different keys and see if they'd work on it. If it's like it looks like it's missing a gem, I could try to insert a gem. So insert blah blah blah. So we've got the start of all of that, but I really want to make for some interactions that also facilitate things like if I cast sense magic, etc. Then it would tie into it, so I may actually see something that I wouldn't have seen without either activating a certain spell, being in possession of a certain item, or having a certain skill up to a specific level. So with all of that going on, having it just be in the chat box may be too messy. So one of the things I do want to mess with is having that come up in a different way. So you could just have a journal page that's like 100 pages or whatever, and all this stuff flows into that. Can players copy paste responses. So we'll definitely have a free form journal, so it'll just be basically text that you can store. And so I think that covers that. And then, yeah, being able to like copy and paste from there. Yeah, we'll have to play with it. And the journal, I don't know what I just said, but the journal will be basically just blank, so that you can type in whatever notes you want. We won't have a quest journal. That is the quest journal. Oh no! Don't die. Good. Oh, you died. Yeah, the idea of slash notes. So the idea of that having pages is actually kind of cool. I hadn't really thought about that before, but I guess it makes sense. I think that's the first time I opened that, Nick. Make it two-sided parchment with page number, and you're done. Yep. Cool. I've lost my textures. Oh no. Belfaster said, then I can start my people to train list, put on lipstick, lay back on my couch like Steve Buscemi and Billy Madison. I barely remember the reference. All right. Oh, yeah. When he was apologizing to the kids that he bullied in school, but Shimmy takes him off the people to kill list. That's right. Nick, I still need to push the changes, but I made the tower more towery. And then I hopped in and looked at it a little bit ago. It could probably even be taller. So once I got up here and looked, it wasn't as huge as I thought it was going to be. So that's good. I know it would be a step beyond, but it would be cool to hand draw maps in your journal. Basic Windows Paint functionality. In my D&D game, I have 2 players who use their journals religiously to draw maps and such. We could give you graph paper, maybe. That does bring up the name change policy to avoid changing your name in game reputation. So I have an idea that may wind up being a bad idea, but I'm gonna bounce it off the team some more and see what they think when it comes to things like that. I know there's the argument that's made with regards to name changes to prevent harassment, but I think that's a fairly rare, at least in my experience. It's a fairly rare situation where, you know, because naturally when we bring up something like that, then people are like, well, what if you're being stalked or blah blah blah. Okay, but again, that's one of those, that's a bit more rare case than what's typically happening. So I do think there should be a significant degree of transparency when it comes to some of the stuff that's happening with customer service and customer service commands and things like name changes. So it's the off the top of my head kind of thought, but again, haven't really run it by the team and haven't edge cased it, is that we maintain a log of all. We maintain a log of significant customer service interactions that is a public log. So I think that's the easiest way to say it. So again, just kind of off the cuff, that would even include things like /kills, item creation. So areas where that can be edge case, and it's like, do we really want to do that? Could be in providing we don't want to provide a log of exploits for people to immediately hop on. It's funny. Hadn't really thought about it. A few months ago, there was like a Josh Hayes video or something where he's talking about, I think New World had the public bug forum thing. Kind of like Subnautica, I think. You guys tell me if I'm wrong in how they're handling it, but basically you could see what bugs exist as people were reporting them, and then that just gave all the exploiters an immediate list of things to go do, especially depending on their response time to those, to fixing those issues. So I can see that argument. What I'd like to find is maybe the ability to make certain information that in the past I've seen people, like there are these just urban legends that happen and a lot of bullshit drama that comes out where it's like, yeah, that wasn't the case, and if you could actually just see the logs, you would know that's not the case, and we wouldn't have to be having these discussions. So something along those lines. Looking at the map. Just mark this really fast. And Keith, if people find out that you're Mr. T, then, well, first of all, if you're Mr. T, then you can afford this super secret special VIP treatment. Just do this for now. Mark it with it's about halfway point, so we can stretch the zone out if needed. Do something similar here. Oh joy. Pull these down. Giant dragon footprints? Maybe. But probably not. It's a good guess though, Nicodemus. You know what? That may be... I'll leave it there for now. I'm not going to put a lot of effort into these two areas until I find out how sort of close they are to where they need to be. What size is this tree? I think I scaled them up to like 1.5. Well, I'm glad that Unity recognizes my Swedish keyboard and changes the commas into points. That's helpful. Do not swim in a dragon's footprints. That still seems pretty small. How big did I scale? Again, placeholder just to demarcate. What's going on here, and then we can come back. New empty parents. And we'll M&M should instantly kill new players to let them know what kind of game this is. That's the first thing that happens to you. You load into the game and you just die. You have a random... You load in a random location, newbie location. You're smitten by the hand of God. And then, you spend the rest of the game trying to find that first corpse. Somewhere in the world is your corpse. When you finally find your corpse, it's, that reminds me, will pain and suffering try to strike us? Oh my gosh, pain and suffering. Almost forgot about you. Petitions constantly. So I was minding my own business and I got struck by pain and suffering for 10,000 damage or whatever it was, 50,000 damage or whatever. And I can't find my corpse. Heppel. Heppel. Alright, so then we've got that. We've got that camp over there. Let me look at something real quick. Duplicate these guys. I'm gonna take them over to this house. And I'll see if they're a decent size next to the house, and that just means shit's real big. And they're not massive, but they're an okay size relative to the house. It could probably be a bit bigger. .5. All right, so that's 2.5. These guys, 2.5, 2. And what else we got? Wonder Mustard. Do you know Squishy Mustard? Squishy Mustard's in here. Or was in here. Thank you for the follow, even if you don't know Squishy Mustard. .5, 2. You don't know who that is? Pattis, that's your brother, right? One of our team members, his brother is Squishy Mustard. The Squishy Mustard seems like the normal kind of mustard. Have you guys had non-squishy mustard? And I mean, I live in Germany, so if it's mustard related, non-squishy mustard. What am I? Is this an obvious thing where I'm just not thinking of it because I got stream brain? What's non-squishy mustard? Like normal mustard, not like some shit dried up on your t-shirt or whatever. Like, don't try to... Is it referring to the bottle? It could be, but that would be like squeezy mustard. Excuse me, there we go. Finally the burps for you. You guys said you missed them. Lumpy mustard? If your mustard's lumpy, there may be something wrong with your mustard. Yeah, the salad finally caught up with me. Finally burping. Finally. Make this a bit bigger. Mustard with seeds in it is still squishy though. It's just, you know, you squishing the seeds. No? You don't think that's accurate? Guys, cross your fingers for me, if you don't mind. Cross your fingers that when we go look at one of these gardens tomorrow, that there's actually one available. I haven't had a car in, what year is it? It's 2022? Well, shit. I haven't had a car in like 7... No stream tomorrow. Maybe if I get a really cool, if we find a really cool garden, then maybe I'll pop on and stream just... I should stream gardening once we get the garden, assuming we can get a garden. Have some extra streams during my morning of gardening. Yeah, I haven't had a car in like 7 years. So in order, like, because we really want to get a garden bad and we want to be able to lug stuff around or whatever. So they've got these cool cargo bikes in town. They bring them in from Denmark and then finish the customization of them. And hoping to, it takes them about a month to 2 months to get them in and sort of set up and everything. So here, I'll show you. Since having a car is actually kind of a pay. There are car shares here. We rent cars whenever we like travel down to Cologne to see our family, or she uses like the clinic's company car the last time. And then if we've had to take the dog somewhere crazy, you know, like he was going to class and it was pretty far away, and so we'd do a little rent, sort of like whatever, sort of city ride share car things. Anyways, do I still drive? Yeah, I was actually, Jasmine did some excellent work. My Texas driver's license, I believe was expired last year, but she was able to still use my driver's license to get me a German driver's license. So I have a German driver's license, and I'll just have to renew my American driver's license when I get back to the States at some point. So I can drive here at least. I miss having a pickup truck, and so these bikes, seen them around. Had an opportunity to test ride one yesterday. We went over to the shop. So this is the color and everything that we're ordering, and you can have up to 200 pounds for the rider. Oh, except in like an E version, just pedal. And you can load, I think, at least another 200 plus pounds in the cargo area. And I've seen these things lugging all sorts of shit pretty effectively. There's some images where they've got, like, I saw somebody was moving a giant arcade machine on one. So yeah, since I don't have a car here, this is going to be a lifesaver. Oh, and they're really crazy light. This guy's not bullshitting. When the guy was like, pick it up, it's light. And he just sort of yeeted it off the ground. I was like, oh man. I had a mountain bike, like I had a specialized Epic when I lived in San Diego, and that's a giant sperm. And it was crazy light too, so I know they exist. But yeah, that's my story. If you didn't come here to learn about bikes, then I apologize. I've never been to Gamescom, but I may be going now that they're starting back up, because I can spend time with, we can just stay with Jasmine's parents down there, and super convenient. Cologne's cool, pretty cool city. My Red Bull just wore off, did you notice? My Red Bull wore off a few minutes ago. You probably noticed. We'll expand this a bit. And then we'll come into here. Yeah, my wings have fallen off. The only time I've been to a game convention in Germany was back when I was at Sony, working on DC Universe, and Leipzig Games Convention was still a thing. And I went to Leipzig, and there's actually a interview out there of me at Leipzig, and I'm basically... Uh-oh, what just happened there? Okay. Basically super jet lagged and had to go straight into giving presentations of DC Universe, and somebody interviewed me for it, and the video was posted back when that was a bit more of a novelty. I think they just posted it on like their website or something. I don't even think it was YouTube, so maybe it's gone by now. That would be great. And the first comment on the video was, I sure hope this game's more exciting than the guy they're interviewing. Why does Sony, like something about Sony hiring zombies or something? I was like, fuck. All right, dude, you got me. You got me. I mean, it's not like I'm a super emotive person anyway. I can't do it. I can't do it. It feels like it just feels like I'm faking. Right? And I know I'm not trying to pick on anybody that's good at that, right? Like, there are people out there that are so good at just being like, hey guys, everything's wow, right? Yeah, like, that's amazing if you can do it. Like, different people have definitely different styles. Some people are just clear, matter of fact, positive energy, good communicator. I'd put, I would definitely say Nick falls into that category. Just clear communicator, positive, professional. Zukin, very unprofessional. Very, very unprofessional. Not even, he's so unprofessional, he's unprofessional. I made a word up just for him. No, Zukin does a great job as well. Very funny. Pattis, very pleasant, and again, professional. I think my thing is I'm just too self-conscious. Why am I even streaming? This is such a bad idea. Why did I let anybody talk me into this? Oh, rotation is what I'm... I just wanted to stream some EverQuest with my wife and talk about the good old days for a few months, and then, just move on. Just move on. I'm not quite sure what I'd move on to. I'm kidding. This has always been my plan. No, it wasn't my plan. But thank you for suggesting it, chat. It's a decent plan so far. Alright, so let me actually answer a question here. Is that the origin of your name? My lack of emotiveness? Yes, the origin of my name is I've had 3 ex-wives. I'm now married to that was going to be a bad joke. I was going to say something about 4th ex-wife, but that's not nice. So I'm married to the final boss, and 2 of my 3 ex-wives called me a robot. Final boss. I just thought of that. Thank you. When's the alpha come out? Unsure. Igdy. Pattis totally comes off as the cool professor from college, which I suppose he is. He does, and in a good way. One of the guys I knew from Alabama growing up became a professor of hip hop, and was talking to him. Igdy. Nick said, "When I stop breaking the game so much." So it's gonna be a little bit. It's gonna be a little bit. Nick's very good at breaking the game. Cool. We'll do this. We're just gonna hide that craterous seam there. Maybe get a heart rate monitor for extra level of excitement. I have a heart rate. My heart rate's very low right now. The Red Bull's clearly worn off. I mean, it's not very low. It's 61. Looks like a good spot for a Derv camp. Igdy, if you like Derv camps, the other zone, this zone over here to the east, we've got you covered. We've got so many bandit camps, and our thing that will clearly be Derbs, but will be named something else. Don't you worry. There's cultists. There's a bunch of camps over there that I think you're gonna like. Alright, so we've got this space. Nomads. Nomads don't sound like they're as sketchy though. Nomads, our nomads are the sojourners. And variable factions. Will micro adjustments to some of the camp tents cause any conflicts in glass files? Let me check it in real quick, and then you can tweak to your heart's desire. How's that sound, Nick? Hold on one sec. Now that I'm out of there, and then I just won't touch it until you check in. So glass flats. I'll discard that change. Deep Dunes meta discard. I don't know why that keeps changing. Yep, the Red Bull wore off and the burps appeared. So apparently, Red Bull suppresses burps. Now we know. If you ever want a burp-free stream, you just got to give me like 300 bits to stream before to pay for the Red Bull. A sketchy nomad. You take 5 points from a sketchy nomad. How about a sketchy nomad touches you gently for 3 points? A sketchy nomad sniffs your hair. I hate when coworkers in the X-Cube over burp out loud. I try not to burp out too loud. but they got to come out. When I was younger, one of the guys I knew called burps mouth farts, and that really, it gives you a different kind of view on burps. It's like, you really shouldn't be just because you're at face level with other people, and it's impolite. Glass flats updated. Commit to master. Push origin. Oh, Nick said my wife had a southern gentleman coworker who burped so loud in his cubicle that he would surprise himself and go, "Oh my god." Oh my god. I am so sorry, everybody. Well, damn, I scared myself. Well, bless my heart. All right, so probably some need to. I'm not going to overinvest, but essentially, this area, when I come in and start actually shaping it out a little bit to at least convey roughly what we're looking for, or at least be able to have the discussion about how to convey that. It's supposed to be kind of Badlands style. So a lot of rock that's at different levels. So if you look here, so there'd be a lot of ridges and elevation changes and other stuff. I've got some reference. So there'll be a number of like ridges and bumps and lumps, and then lots of little pockets of probably not overly developed abandoned mines. So there's a lot of mining that went on here. Ooh, good question. Have I saved lately? I'll hit save. I don't have a little cutout version of me to pop up to tell me to save, unfortunately. If you don't know what I'm referring to, then you need to watch Azukin's streams. So anyways, get some Badlands in there, and then there's a lot of mining that went on. These two civilizations way back in the day, before this up here happened, use this area for mining. And so we'll have one little dungeon, which I thought I placed an entrance. Oh, that's interesting. Did that get overwritten, or did I just use it somewhere else? Maybe I used it somewhere else? I have to add that command. Anyway, so let me just pop back over and grab that and add it. I don't know where it went, to be honest. I mean, it wasn't like any real investment in of time or anything to get it in here, but it's just kind of weird that it's not here. So let's go take a look. Let's go over to Glass Flats. I won't be making any changes though, Nick, so you should be good to go. But I'm just going to steal that dungeon real quick. So Pattis made a cool dungeon in Night Harbor that I've been using as like the placeholder if I need to plop a natural feeling little cave system thing in, I can just use it. So copy, go to Dragon's Run. Don't save. And then run over here. And in here, cavern mesh, cool. Where are you, cavern mesh? There you are. We'll just bring it and plug it in here. Ooh, I'm gonna sleep good tonight. And we'll rotate it. Give that a clean 90. Negative. Nope, not negative, negative. 90, great. No. Huh. It's funny you made this save comment. I think I might have, I didn't lose anything, but I remember, I thought I reworked some of this stuff. So. We'll just do this here for now. Go here. Oh, Nick, if you're moving like some of those camps and stuff around, the one thing I may do, once you check that back in, so I may move some of the stuff that you move, but I'll try to keep it in sort of the roughly the same place, if it makes sense, is I want to go in, looking at this just reminded me, I want to go in and break up that plateau to have some more sort of Badlands style jaggy bits and make it a little bit more, just a little bit more broken up, so it's not just one, you know, each plateau is one big flat thing. That may help it so that the camps don't seem like we need like 80 of them. You hope soon, which part? Now I'm confused. Whenever someone uses my name, I feel like I'm in trouble. I blame my childhood. Oh, I was like, I didn't realize there was a, now I see it. Because I read that so long ago. It's like, when's the next stream? I hope soon. And then as I was saying that, you're like, I hope soon. And I'm like, oh shit, did you need me to make those changes before you got started? I can hop on that. Then you're like, okay, Shawn. I'm like, that's the way I read it. I'm like, damn, Nick, calm down. Jeez. Why are you so angry? But no, it's just me reading it wrong. Making assumptions. Breaking at least 2 of the 4 agreements. Man. Frickin' Shawn. Yes, YouTube, I'm still here. You got to use that API, assume positive intent. D? That is great. I like that one. API, assume positive intent. Honestly, I am really bad at that. For being a robot, I am way too emotional and too self-conscious. If Nick uses your middle name, then you need to put your tail between your legs. For sure. Oh my god. I just heard my mom. Shawn? Patrick? Oh, he just did it. He just did it. Please get your shit together. Oh, Nick. I'm going to assume positive intentions. I'm going to assume you're joking. But like for real joke. Not one of those jokes that's kind of not a joke. You know what I mean? Like most jokes. No, dude, you're pretty good at API. I've seen you often take comments in the best possible way. I like how you do that. Oh, that's my outward face, Bilbo. I'm decent. I'm pretty good at masking. So most of how I relate to other humans is through a academic replication of how I believe that I'm supposed to respond in most situations. Inside, though. Oh, inside. The thoughts. The thoughts. So outside, I'm like, oh no, it's all good. It's all good. And inside, I don't know if you guys, if you have not seen this movie, you should have seen this movie. Inside, my brain's doing this. Do you know that reference with Madeline Kahn? God bless her. Flames on the side of my face, breathing, breathless, heavy breaths. It's such a good movie. Tim Curry is such a great actor. I mean, how crazy is it? So it's a movie based on a board game. And it is a fantastic movie. I've seen this movie easily a dozen times. And it's based off a board game. And it's so hard to make video game movies unless you're Uwe Boll. And then you just nail it every time, first try. Reiko, thank you for the sub. Clue is good. Is that where the sub came from? You're like, damn it, I love Clue. You're getting a sub. Stinks that he's had health issues over the past few years. I wasn't, so I didn't say anything, but right after I said it, I was like, oh, did I say present tense or past tense? And, ah, man. So good. Oh man, the Bruce Willis thing. Did you guys hear about that as well? Getting old is rough, man. It's a bummer to not see new stuff from folks like that, but I mean, I've got to say I'm so appreciative for the stuff that they actually did do. Holy goodness. Go back and watch all those movies. You know what kind of blows my mind is the idea that there are kids out there that maybe are never gonna see those movies. Like D Loves Pudding made the 3 movie references earlier, right? Was it The Goonies, The Explorers, and hold on, don't tell me D, don't say it. I'm gonna Skeleton Organs, Goonies, Explorer Drive-In, and then Monster Squad, right? So yep. Like for me, I think, you know, part of what I'm hoping the afterlife is just I get to just watch every movie that I grew up on without having to try to track down which streaming service which streaming service is essentially got them, or none. You know, there's a movie rental place like 2 blocks from here. In Germany, you can still rent movies like on DVDs and Blu-rays. And we've been meaning to go in there. This weekend we need to go in there and see what they got. Because I'm telling you, all of this streaming shit, there's so much stuff that I can't find anymore. It's like, what is this about? We need to have hard copies of everything. If we ever make the big bucks, I just want to basically, I want to have everything on hard copy. Hungry Hippo. Thanks for, yeah, thanks for speaking up. Twitch does this thing where it tells me, this is the first time Hungry Hippo has ever said anything in your chat. And I'm like, holy shit, thank you for doing that. Used to work at a Hollywood Video back in college right up until the landlord changed the locks on us. Oh man, no one saw that coming. You know, if Netflix actually had, if they had all these old movies I wanted to see available to watch, then their stock wouldn't have gone down by 30%. I need to just cut a hole here. Cut tool. I've never used the cut tool in Pro Builder. Let's see how it works. Not too bad. The other thing that I have trouble doing is just remembering what all the movies were. Oh, that did not work. Select his face again. There we go. We need a little bit less snap there, sir. Perfect. You want to connect those verts to the corners. What do you mean, Pattis? The one you have selected to the above and to the right. Yes. But what would I connect it to? The one at the top of that face. So up here? Oh, connect them? Oh, wow. I'm so glad you're an instructor. I sure do love our team. Alt-E, not Control-E, Shawn. Come on, follow instructions, dude. I am so bad at school. I'm gonna have to... Do I need to connect these as well? No, right? I'm gonna have to go back. I think it's like 8 weeks of school or something. Maybe more. In a year and a half, I'm gonna have to do like... I'm gonna have to go to German school. And I'm so bad at school. I just get so frustrated when I'm in school. So I'm very curious what's going to happen. Oh man, this seems like it shattered some shit. I'm going to undo that. That did not seem like the move, Pattis. Wunderbar. Wrong vert? Okay. Which vert? I wish you could, the one across the face over here. So teaching myself something is way easier than going to school. I have a lot of trouble interacting with instructors and stuff at times. Turn the camera 180 degrees behind you. First of all, I need to undo this. This is not correct. It's like watching Houston try to talk to the space station on a delay. The one to the left at the base of the hill. Okay, so we've got this one. And then we've got this one. And when we all eat, I swear something weird happened. I guess I lied. Nothing weird happened. No, it didn't connect it. Further out? Oh, you mean here? That didn't do it either. You can clean it up. Well, I mean, honestly, if it doesn't really break anything, we're just gonna have to get Nick used to the idea of not filing bugs for some of this stuff until you can come in and just like do it professionally. Because guys, I don't know if you realize this, but I'm not a professional. How'd I play that shit off last time? Oh my god. All sorts of stuff looks wonky here. Anyways, this is just a placeholder to remind us that it's there. Goblins live there. Let's move on. Why is it you're getting some German school in? Gotta get a job? Gotta get a job. How dare you? No, I will have been in Germany long enough that they want me to actually be fully indoctrinated. So I'll have to speak at a B1 level and B1. We'll see how far off I am on that. My grammar is pretty bad. And I need to know about the history of Germany and some other like stuff. I'll tell them my opinions of Olaf Scholz and the Red Light Alliance that's running our country. And then they'll be like, "You're out of here." Gotta Deutsch you up. Ja, aber ich benutze mein Deutsch niemals. Wir sprechen nur Englisch, meine Frau und Meine Frau ist die einzige Leute, das ich jeden Tag sehe und ich spreche mit niemand anderes und so jetzt ich bin hier, ich habe jetzt hier 1,5 Jahre gewohnt und vorher 2 Jahre gewohnt und mein Deutsch ist nicht so gut. Was kann ich sagen? I couldn't imagine if I actually spoke with German people regularly. You know, I think my German would probably get better, but we never speak German at home. It just tires me out. And well, that's a good reason. I was worried you were getting tempted by those Suchen dich signs. There's signs where you're at? I do remember when I first got here, the first weeks I was here, moved to Germany in 2015 with previous wife. Someone told me that's German for we're hiring. Wir suchen dich. Yeah. Anyways, we were trying to find something and we kept seeing this street sign that was Einbahnstraße. We kept seeing Einbahnstraße. And I'm not even bullshitting. I don't know. It's so cliche of a mistake. So it's one-way street. So we were like looking at these one-way street signs everywhere that we were going, thinking we were still on the same street. And frustrating to say the least. What was I looking for? I need something. Something to replicate like a castle size. Maybe I'll grab the inn. That's a good starting point for an exterior. B Pops, thank you for the follow. If I look at the map again, you guys can't see the map because there's so many spoilers on the map. I can't even show you. But I want something that helps for sort of scale reference. Because again, I'm very curious if these zones are going to wind up being too big or just too boring the way I've got them or whatever. I think once this is all up and down and really kind of a bit more Badlandsy looking, then that'll help break up line of sight and it'll be a bit better, and then there'll be nooks and crannies and pockets to put interesting stuff in. But just looking at the base map for the various POIs that need to go in, he's got ruins listed as well. At some point, I know all ruins will be probably a bit different, but later on it may not hurt to get. I may just steal some of the, depending on what ruins these are supposed to be, if they're meant to be Zentari or Wyrmsbane. I have to. Oh shit! It's over. It's after 11 o'clock. Goodness, no wonder my Red Bull's worn off. I promise you on Tuesday I'll have another Red Bull. You guys seem to like it. Night Harbor. Is it Glinst? Let me know the pronunciation, I'll fix it. Is it Glinst? If it was German, then I guess it'd be Gleinst. But probably not German. But thank you. Glinst or Gleinst said, been enjoying your YouTube EQ interviews last days. Great stuff. Well, you did say the last days, so you could be German. The German kind is good, but are you German? Thank you, Bilbo. Have a Red Bull vodka. I prefer Red Bull and CBD oil. I swear the CBD oil is just to make sure that I don't get sore from all the heavy weights earlier, bro. Guten Tag, liebe Freunde. Hey, ABQ, SC2. I could grab these ruins piece. Wie geht's? Geht's mir gut? Selbst? Bilbo? Dein Name ist Bilbo. Kein Schlafen, kein Problem. I'm gonna steal these as ruins, as sort of the placeholder ruins bits. Is that okay with you, Pattis? You're making me struggle to remember my 10-year-old German. What happened to them? That sounds like a tragic story. Norwegian, but pronunciation of the name is similar. Could you tell me a little bit about Eminem or where to read up on it? Yeah, I've been really, that's a great, you know what? It's 11:11. Let's make a wish. And then let's, I guess, get close to wrapping up here since I've run over time, but let me do the things I'm supposed to do. So, Gleinst, that is our website. So check that out. There's a FAQ on there. And that covers a fair bit. We have a Discord server, naturally. Join up there. There's 800 plus people. So that's kind of cool. Excuse me. We have a mailing list for when new information comes out. Sign up there. And we've got other streamers on the team, so check that out. You can see what's that? So many links. There's so many things for you to click on. I'll let you click, but you should still be able to hear me in the background, even if you've clicked on links. Yeah. So there's our YouTube. Bilbo said, if you want the very condensed description of Eminem, here it is. It's an unfinished game. Hard to get it shorter than that. Sorry. Yeah, especially with me talking. So, the very quick overview, some of you that are new in here, that aren't clicking the link for whatever reason. So, one sec. Eminem is an indie MMORPG being developed in real time with the community. So we stream as we go. We're very open about everything that we're doing. We've got to update our roadmap for sure, but we've got a roadmap. You can find the link on the website. Go to the FAQ page. So we're focused on making a old school style, late 90s, early 2000s style MMORPG that's focused on the community building, social aspects of games of that era. While we know that a lot of that was built, was a side effect of some of the limitations at the time, and as every YouTube content creator who talks about MMOs will like to point out, it was a time that predated social media and the sort of ubiquity of communication that exists outside of MMOs, but we do feel that by leaning into certain constraints and types of systems and interdependencies, and in some cases just design decisions that today we'd be like, that's just not a good design. We feel like we can recreate the social friction that leads to communication, whether that be in game or out of game, though, playing on things like P99 or other emulators, you see where there is that tendency to like just communicate in game. You're not necessarily going to be like, what's your Discord, homie? So do think that we can tap into some of that feel. We're looking at a combat pace that is, again, it's slower. It's less about sort of maximizing a rotation and more about knowing your class and making the right tactical decisions moment to moment. We've embraced old concepts like camping. We're going for, as you can see, this is a blockout of an environment that we're building up now, recreating. We've got another version of this that you'll probably see in some of the videos. That was our first year's rough block out, but now we're making the real deal. We're going for an art style that's kind of old school, well, very old school, lower poly, hand-painted textures that then gain the benefit of a modern engine in terms of, or gain the benefits of a modern engine in terms of lighting and the tools and things of that nature. So definitely check out the videos. Click through a bunch of them. You'll see the progress that we've made. The game has been in development, basically. I mean, we started talking about the idea on stream. It just was a byproduct of the stream itself. We started talking about what we liked about old games, and it was like, well, I've got experience with niche MMOs. The last couple of games and companies that I've worked at were on games that most everybody in chat hadn't heard of, with the exception of maybe people that are parents and had daughters that played Star Stable. But I've been a senior producer and then executive producer and then chief product officer at a couple of companies. So I've seen the profit and loss. I've seen what niche games are capable of doing in terms of return on investment and what the operating costs are and all that stuff. And so the more we started talking about whether or not it was feasible to try to, with a small team, make a pretty focused, fairly streamlined indie MMORPG, it has made sense so far. We've grown the team the first year, which started, we started in September of 2020. The first year was essentially like 3-4 of us actively, working on some stuff and a lot of tech work and infrastructure being done and sort of a lot of just very core design. We've grown the team in the last 8 months, 9 months to 10 people. And yeah, we go, we just kind of go week by week and update you guys, and you can see in real time the progress that we're making. So there's no smoke and mirrors and, no attempt at a rug pull or anything like that. We're hoping to charge a subscription fee, no in-game shop, no cosmetics for purchase. Everything you have will be earned in game. And then to help complement that, we'll try to sell you a bunch of cool merch outside of game. And yeah, that's a lot of the spiel. I'm sure I'm missing something. Oh, Dragus. Gleint says, looks awesome. Never got to experience that area as entered with WoW. Any estimate for when it will be in a playable state? So it's playable now. Well, it's been playable. We're redoing combat formulas and basically have been redoing some stuff under the hood that makes it a bit less playable at the moment. Our goal is to have some folks in and playing with us this year. So we've already looked at integration of essentially a integration of Sola for you to be able to register and download and install and blah blah blah. So we're already looking ahead to that. But our goal is essentially to start getting some people in and playing with us within the year, and then we'll see everything we're doing right now. All the zones that you see in the various videos and stuff are part of our proof of concept, essentially a playable vertical slice, and then we'll see how we want to move forward from there. Hopefully by the time that we've got proof of concept established, what we're then going to be looking at is just what's it take to scale this thing. And that will inform our plans on how we want to move forward. So that is not a very concise summary of where we're at, but it is where we're at nonetheless. Let me try something. I'm going to hit, and then I'm going to go over to, and since we're just going to be redoing this stuff anyway, hopefully you don't mind, Pattis. I mean, it's interesting because all of that content that is sold as like purchasable cosmetics and stuff, it's, you know, especially if it's cool stuff, if it's not like really lame, weird stuff, but if it's cool stuff, I mean, that's content. That's stuff that we can itemize encounters with, we can itemize quests with, etc. Like giving that up just for cash, it makes sense. I understand it. From kind of the business rationale, having worked at free-to-play companies, but man, it's just, I'd much rather have it be something you're earning game. Yeah, don't misunderstand, Bilbo. I've spent plenty of money on cosmetics. Definitely not hating on them. Definitely understand the business model. But I still think it's a little bit cooler and more in keeping with what we're trying to do here, and having it all be earnable. Did the Swedish horse game for girls have purchased cosmetics? But that would have been a minefield. Nope, they did. That was a big part of their revenue generation. And there are the occasional mines, yeah. My tween daughter bought way too much stuff without fully informing us as to what she was doing and blah blah blah. So those issues did exist. And you know, they're just things that it's normal part of business. You just address it as it comes up. Okay, so it's weird. Yeah, it's gonna be, in some ways it's huge, in some ways it's smaller than it looks. Alright, but that's fine for now. You'll pay for house upgrades, mounts, whatever, but armor, that's what you earn in Battle Over. Dreg, you'll pay in-game gold that you've earned. Okay, shit, it's 11:24. I am actually way past my bedtime. I don't think Jasmine has to work tomorrow, so that's good. All right, guys, I tell you what, this will be abrupt, but I did say I was going to do it a while back, and I just failed to log out. Let me hit save here. I swear more progress will be made when we meet again on Tuesday. You guys have been around a while, you know the deal. I'm not super productive on stream, but it's wonderful to chat with you, and then we'll review some of the work that's been done over the weekend. Good night, Snickerdoodle. Again, those of you that are new, check out our website, hop on our Discord. Gleins, thank you for the follow. Thank you for following along. Did you follow? Okay, you didn't follow. Thank you anyways. Thanks for following along. Join our Discord. MMO Pug, you did follow, and you get a big thank you. Dreg, you're very welcome. Good night. I hope everybody has an extremely decent weekend. It sounds like the sun will be out tomorrow and Saturday before it gets cloudy and rainy. So, exciting. And, yeah, I'll see you guys Tuesday. Good night, Bufu. Good night, Mandalorian. Good night, Pattis. Good night, Marika. Good night, Nick. D loves pudding. Good night. MMO Pug. Good night and thanks again. Reiko. Good night. Bilbo. Good night, Grandpa. All right. If that's it for the good nights, I will see you on Tuesday.